Ray, you think any of the superheroes would take 800 million?
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to this week's Geeks Who Like Sports Mashup. As always, I am Ray Carsillo. That's my best friend, Elias. We got a good one for you this week. Of course, we're talking about on the show. We talked a lot about the Juan Soto monster $800 million contract with the Mets. And so we want to know what superheroes would change teams for $800 million.
It's a very, very specific number.
Very, very specific.
Highest paid superhero in history.
Yes, 100%. I think, though, this is actually, there are deep cuts. I think there's a long list of this.
We're talking heroes, not villains. I think villains makes it too easy because most of them.
A lot of villains do it for money anyways. So, and I think this is the one week, kind of get them right out of the way where, like, they're not disqualified on this one. I think Booster Gold and Deadpool are at the top of the list for both Marvel and DC for guys. I think Deadpool has switched teams before for money.
Yeah. Yep. He's a merc. That's what he does. Yeah. I think Booster Gold. If we're doing Marvel DC, Booster Gold easily. Now, Booster Gold might take it and disperse it nicely later on because that's kind of who he is.
Yeah, but he's not a bad person.
Yeah, he's taking the money. Skeets, how do I disseminate this correctly? That's again, if you don't know Booster Gold, it's a crime. Booster Gold is not been done in film or TV yet. He's coming. He is on his way. All right. Booster Gold, he's not quite the Deadpool of DC, but I'd say he's kind of like, oh man, how can I even describe him? He's kind of like he's really not Deadpool. I don't want to compare him to Deadpool. All right. But he's a futuristic mercenary who knows what's going to happen. He's Back to the Future too. Maybe that's why I love him so much. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, he has the almanac.
Yeah, he has the almanac, but uses it for good instead of evil.
Right, but he would take the money in a heartbeat. Right.
Absolutely.
Now, if we're staying on DC, Ray, and we got to keep it in Justice League, it's tough. Batman don't need the money.
Batman, no.
Superman doesn't care about the money. Wonder Woman doesn't care about the money. Flash, maybe.
If anybody of the core Justice League
needs the money,
Flash and Guy Gardner Green Lantern would be possibilities.
He's already green.
Right?
You can't possibly get more green. Watch this.
Yeah. Those are definitely up there for the core Justice League.
Yeah.
Right.
Now Marvel. You want to stay on DC for a second? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just trying to think of other DC heroes. But I think there's a longer list than Marvel, right? Because I think so heroes for hire. So Luke Cage and Iron Fist, even though Danny Rand doesn't need it later on, but I think definitely Luke Cage, I think would.
But for sure.
Shot, who worked with Mojo World, I think would. TV star.
Again, listen. If we're gonna stay just real quick in DC. All right.
Yes.
I think some of the reign of Supermen would, right? I think Superboy would. I think Steel would.
That Superboy would.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm thinking about now, right? Because he's half Luthor.
Right.
Excuse me. So that makes kind of sense. Superboy would do it.
Eradicator becomes a bad guy. So I think, of course,
right? And Henshaw, we doesn't really. He
obviously, Cyborg Superman is a bad guy. So, but this is an interesting case.
Are we back to Marvel? Because I'll tell you what, you can make a strong argument for Spider-Man. People aren't going to like to hear that, but 800 million, Peter Parker's not exactly living in it.
Yeah, no. The thing is, you know what would happen though is that if he realized because we saw this with Civil War. Is that he'll go one way and then because that's kind of what he did in Civil War. He kind of went with Tony Stark. He got the fancy new armor. He had all the resources. And then he kind of felt morally obligated to go to Cap.
But in this situation, it's not Iron Man giving him the money. He's just getting it from something else. So maybe it's a good moral source. Who knows? Right. But I'm saying he might do it. Venom.
Venom.
Eddie Brock would take that money.
Yeah, again, no, Venom is obviously more of an anti-hero, right?
Hero.
In that case, you could also say Juggernaut because Juggernaut's been a hero before too. And I think Juggernaut would absolutely, even though we think of him as a villain, Juggernaut has been a hero. He's worked as an X-Man before. Yes. And I think that you could make the argument that Juggernaut would definitely take that money.
I think so too. I think he's more of a villain than
I definitely think so too. I think right now he's a hero again in the comics, but like he goes back and forth depending on what's happening or how much he wants to kill Charles Xavier that day. So.
Well, look, I think what you said is a really good pick, right? I think Deadpool's a shoe-in for sure.
Absolutely.
Again, but there's another anti-hero, right?
Right.
But I really do think Spider-Man would have a hard time.
Spider-Man's a good one. I think Long Shot over on Mojo World, I think could be another one. For those who don't know him, check him out.
Arcade. Think of the ratings he could buy.
Well, Arcade's a bad guy.
I know.
He would probably he would take the money because he needs to build more of his murder worlds.
Yeah, I do have to say I'm so happy X-Men 97 brought him in. That made me so happy.
Yeah, Arcade is phenomenal. I one of my favorite, mostly because of the video game Arcade's Revenge from the Super Nintendo. So, which was an impossible game to beat.
Yeah,
impossible.
Like most games from that time. There was no saving kids. You had to do it in one shot.
Yeah. No, that's like that was the thing. If that game had a save state, different story.
Different story. A lot of games at that time. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
No continues on a lot of these things. All right, let's not talk about this. It's going to bring back horrible.
Yeah, it's a whole different topic for another day. But as always,
we want to know
what you
think.
Yeah. So for Lee, I'm Ray. This has been a fun mashup. This is a great one. What superheroes would change teams for $800 million? So it's a fun one. Yeah, I'm still trying to think about it. I don't think there's.
Let us know below.
Yeah, let us know. Comment below. Until next time, that's Lee. I'm Ray. Thanks for watching the matchup, everybody.
$800 million. That's got to be at least $10 million.